Greetings and welcome to a very quick demonstration on how to use MAXQDA. What I'm going to do first is go ahead and open up the program. So I've installed MAXQDA here, and the program is going to be loading right now. Our first step, once the file has loaded, we're going to actually go ahead and create a new project here. I'll click New Project. And then we'll save the project. You can see that I have a demo 1. You'll receive a quick notification if you are using a software like Google or OneDrive to synchronize your files online. This is just a quick warning to let you know that if you're putting stuff in a synchronized folder, you might want to create a backup in case there's any type of inconsistencies. If you don't receive this notification, that's okay. We can continue on. On the left-hand side, you'll notice the document system and a code system here, then our document browser in the center. On the right side, you'll see retrieved segments as well. Our first step is actually going to be getting a document into MAXQDA. That can be a text, PDF, table, etc. We will click on that button here, and I will click on the Word document that I have. And you'll notice that the Word document loaded in the center of the screen. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that we can see the information a little bit more clear. As I scroll through, you'll notice that there may be some terms in the documentation that you're reading. These terms can be considered themes if you'd like, and those themes can be translated into code systems. So we can have a code system, for example. I can hit plus, and we can call a code corporate leadership. And I can add another code if I wanted to by clicking this plus button, and I can call it trust. Now, these are just terms, essentially, or codes that I've created. These can be themes in the documentation that you're using, and you might not necessarily know what your themes are until you start reading either the interviews or the document that you're working in. So I kind of cheated because I saw the term corporate leadership here, and I figured, you know what, I think corporate leadership might have to do with this. So what I'm going to do is we now need to associate the code with the sentence. So I can highlight this first sentence, and I can click and drag corporate leadership here. So now I've associated this sentence with the term or the code corporate leadership. As I continue on in the document and reading the different sections, you'll notice that there may be, I believe there was a segment on trust, but I guess I don't see that. So we can add a new section, or a new code rather. We can call this ethical business principles. So if I wanted to add a code called ethics and apply it to this area, I could right-click, hit with new code, and I could call this ethics. So now I have one code associated with the term ethics and one code associated with the term corporate leadership. As I scroll down, you'll see that this section of the document now talks about structure. The structure of an organization may fundamentally echo the ability or inability for leaders to remain attentive to the needs of the underlying workforce. I can continue on and just keep reading if I wanted to. I do see a section here that talks a little bit more about leadership response. So if I wanted to, again, I could either right-click and hit with new code to add a completely new code, or I can just click on corporate leadership here and drag it over the item that I've highlighted. Now to export the codes to Excel, I can right-click on my document and hit Activate All, as well as the code system here, and click Activate All. You'll then notice on the right side that the document is now trimmed down to only the sections where I've coded segments on. If I wanted to export this to Excel, it's as easy as clicking this Excel button here. I can then save my file. You can see that I have a previously saved a file here called Coded Segments Corporate Leadership. We'll just save over that for now, and I'll hit replace. And now the file will open in Excel, and you can see that the color inside of MAXQDA translated into Excel, along with the individual codes and the segments and themes that I've identified here. This is the actual Word document, the text from the Word document, or the PDF in which we applied a code to. There's a lot more information in this file, as well as MAXQDA as a whole, but this was just a very quick snippet of getting a document into MAXQDA and applying a few codes. One thing that I also wanted to highlight is you can add subcodes. So for example, if I had a section called family and I wanted to add an item underneath family, I could click on this plus button and then I could call it children. And then I can hit OK. So if I were using a document that possibly referenced family and children, I could easily click and drag those codes over. Now you might be asking, well, why are these white and these are red? That's because these codes have not been activated yet. So to activate them, I could right click and hit activate, including the subcodes. What this does is it applies the ability for us to review the retrieved segments over here. So if I didn't want to look at corporate leadership, I could right click and hit deactivate. And now I'm only seeing one code that pertains to ethics here. All right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for your time.